في سسبنس؟
يلا سماها يا شباب. تفضل طارق. تحكي انا بضل.
خلاص. جو.
Today I want to talk about a very important event that comes one time every 4 years. I'll talk about the history of World Cup. The idea of World Cup was by the French president of FIFA, and he released his idea in 1930 in Uruguay. There were 13 teams in this World Cup, and Uruguay won it after beating Argentina 4-2 in the final. The next World Cup was in Italy after 4 years. There were 16 teams, and Egypt participated in this World Cup. And Italy won it after beating Czechoslovakia 2-1 in the final. The surprise of this World Cup that Uruguay didn't fail to be the first and the only team who didn't defend their title. In France, 1938, there were 15 teams, and there were many absences in these teams because of political tensions. And Italy won it after beating Hungary 4-2. Then the World Cup stopped for about 12 years because of World War II, and came back in 1950 in Brazil. In Brazil, there were 13 teams, and Uruguay won it. There were no final match because the organization of this World Cup it depends on the groups, not a final match or semi-final match. The surprises of this competition that Uruguay beat Brazil, and US and America beat England. And Brazil and England were a very strong teams in that time. After 4 years in Switzerland, there were 16 teams, and Germany won Hungary in the last match 3-2. The shock is that Hungary had beaten Germany in the first stage 8-3. But then the opposite happened. After 4 years in Sweden, in 1985, there were also 16 teams, and the Brazilian superstar Pelé introduced his skills to the world after scoring 6 goals in this competition. 2 of them were in the last match against Sweden, and Brazil won 5-2. In 1962 in Chile, there were also 16 teams, and Pelé injured in this competition, but there were a perfect substitution player. His name is Garrincha in Brazil, and he led his country to beat Czechoslovakia in the final match 3-1. In England, 1966, there were 16 teams also. And finally, the country that invented football won the first and the only title till now. They beat Germany 4-2 in the last match in extra time. But no one till now knows if the third goal of England crossed the line or not. In Mexico, 1970, there were 16 teams, and this was the first time that World Cup was broadcast in color. And Pelé came back to help his country to win the title in 1970 after beating Italy 4-1 in the final match. In Germany, 1974, West Germany were champions on their home soil. But Netherlands were the favorite before the final match, but Germany changed everything in the last, and they won 2-1. In Argentina, 1978, there were 16 16 teams, and Argentina took their first title in the World Cup after beating the Netherlands 3-1 in the extra time, last match. In 1982, for the first time, it consisted of 24 teams, and Paolo Rossi was the hero in this competition in Spain, and was the Italian superstar who leaded his country to beat Germany 3-1 in the last match. In 1986, there were 24 teams also, and this was Maradona's Mondial. He scored a goal by his hand in the in the semi-final match against England, and he named it the Hand of God. Yes. That he helped his country to win the cup after beating Germany 3-2 in the final. In 1990, there were 24 teams, and France became the only one who win the World Cup as a player and as a coach. And Germany beat Argentina 1-0 in the final match. In 1994, there were 24 teams, and Brazil celebrated their first title since 1917. Its stars in this championship were Romario and Bibita. They won 3-2 in the penalty shootout. After 4 years in France, 1998, there were, for the first time, there were 32 teams, and then Dean Zidane led his country to win this championship after scoring 2 goals against Brazil in the final match. The two goals were by his head, and France won 3-0. In 2002 was the first Asian World Cup. It was in Korea and Japan. There were 32 teams, and Brazil became champions for the 5th time as a top scorer, Ronaldo. He scored 6 goals in this competition, and 2 of them were in the final. This was a tournament of surprise because it opened with France losing to Senegal 1-0 and finished with Turkey the 3rd in the world. The last Mondial was in 2006. It consisted of 32 teams, and Italy won it after beating France 5-3 in the last match. And after 3 months, we will have the first African World Cup. It will be in South Africa, 2010. This is the stadium of Cape Town. I'll show you.
استاد حلب الدولي. هاي الفيديو. كبر كبر. فوق فوق.
Alt Enter.
مكاني فول سكرين فوق. مكاني فول سكرين كمان. راحت على اليسار.
راحت شو رجع فيديو